claims encounter with 7-foot humanoid who told him human body is a machine designed to house the soul for a lifetime. This man, who was the program manager of DARPA, once encountered a 7-foot-tall humanoid being who told him the human body is merely a soul housing group or a machine designed to house the soul for a lifetime, he claims. A former member of the Special Forces, Colonel John Blitch, was a program manager of the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA for short, where he ran the Tactical Mobile Robots TMR program. His role in transitioning rover and robot technology between NASA and the Department of Defense led to his induction into the Space Technology Hall of Fame in 2006. He has a second master's degree and a doctorate in cognitive psychology. He's an open-minded cognitive scientist who has also served as a visiting professor at the U.S. Air Force Academy, as well as consultant for the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy, NASA, and other agencies. Throughout his military career, Dr. Blitch served in special operations and hostage rescue missions. After retiring from DARPA in 2002, he founded Blitz Solutions, Inc. and established 2 nonprofit organizations, CRASAR, responsible for the first robot-assisted humanitarian response after September 11, 2001, and ARACAR, which provided support during Hurricane Katrina response in 2005. In an exclusive interview with journalist Ross Coulthart, Blitch stated that he believes in the claims made by UFO whistleblower Jake Barber. He said, "I believe I was visited by non-human entities." Dr. John Blitch recounted several traumatic experiences, both from childhood and later in life, that he believes are connected to encounters with non-human entities. He explained how these incidents left him paralyzed with terror, distinctly different from fear, and how they remain unforgettable due to their emotional intensity. Dr. Blitch described seeing beings through his bedroom window as a child, staring at him with large dark eyes, and these encounters are so frightening that he became paralyzed, unable to scream until the paralysis lifted. We're talking about sleep paralysis type of thing, but they could have been demons, Now, he shared what he would eventually scream, prompting his parents to come running and attempting to calm him down. Despite his father's assurances that monsters and aliens didn't exist, Dr. Blitch found their explanations unconvincing. He likened his father's reassurances to what he perceives as the government's approach to downplaying the existence of such phenomena. He acknowledged that as a child he tried to dismiss these events as dreams, influenced by his skeptical nature. However, in retrospect, he now believes that these were real encounters with non-human intelligences. And Dr. Blitch highlighted the importance of emotion in distinguishing belief from knowledge, stating that while many childhood memories require belief due to lack of proof, his later experiences provide what he considers irrefutable evidence. He firmly stated that he knows he was visited by non-human entities based on both his childhood and 3 key incidents as an adult. His professional background in neuroscience and psychology added depth to his account as he discussed the psychological responses to terror, such as paralysis and the chicken skin reaction, in other words, goosebumps. His experiences, he emphasized, went beyond simple fear, leaving a profound impact on him. Physical evidence. Dr. Blitch recounted waking up after a terrifying night to discover 3 dark bruises on the side of his right bicep and another bruise higher up in his arm. The pattern of the bruises suggested a grasp by 3 or 4-fingered hand, something he could not logically explain. He emphasized that he repeatedly tried to determine how he might have caused the injuries but found no plausible explanation. Adding to the strangeness, he noted his uncharacteristic reaction upon waking. He immediately went downstairs to retrieve a video camera to document the bruises. This behavior was highly unusual for him, as he typically had no inclination to record himself or take photos of his body. He suggested that this anomalous behavior, along with the unexplained bruises, strongly supported the idea of non-human engagement. Abduction. That expert leads me to believe that yes, absolutely, because I clearly did not want to, the experience leads me to believe I did not want to go. If something, somebody, or a non-human entity, I think it was a biological robot, wanted me to go somewhere I didn't want to go, then technically that is the definition of an abduction. From my perspective, two species are visiting us, and I feel like many other abductees, like a lab rat, that we are being prodded, poked, and experimented on as part of scientific discovery, Dr. Blitch said. And Dr. Blitch confirmed having held a top-secret CSI clearance, particularly as a nuclear weapons delivery officer, which required an exceptional level of trust and stability. He served as Pershing II missile battery commander, responsible for nuclear missile operations, including leading troops in multiple command roles. Despite his verified stability and military role, Dr. Blitch openly admitted to having encounters with non-human beings. He mentioned that he was not alone. At least 4 other peer-qualified military personnel with similar credentials had publicly shared their abduction experiences. Dr. Blitch brought up notable figures like Terry Lovelace, Maria Woods, Jeff Goodridge, and Bob Jacobs, alongside Robert Hastings, who investigated such incidents. He argued that individuals like Terry Lovelace, who held high-security military roles and later achieved respected civilian positions, provide significant credibility to their claims. He challenged Congress and skeptics to question the reliability of individuals like Lovelace if they doubt these accounts. Dr. Blitch firmly believes that such events are not dreams, emphasizing his inability to dismiss physical evidence like bruises on his body and the accounts of his family, who reported he was missing for about 5 hours following a supposedly 1-hour bike ride. He goes on to recount an intense, haunting incident that began after a traumatic experience in Oklahoma City, where he witnessed a severe amputation. To cope with the emotional toll, he began taking mountain bike rides to meditate, particularly to a remote area called Daniels Park in Denver. And one day during his ride, while passing a fenced area with a sign saying Indian Burial Grounds, Dr. Blitch felt an inexplicable urge to trespass. After an internal struggle about respecting the land, he climbed over the fence and started walking his bike through the area. And as he ventured further, he noticed blood on his hand, a bizarre and unexpected bloody nose that seemed unrelated to physical exertion. He collapsed, later experiencing intense cold and disorientation. Upon regaining his senses, he found himself inexplicably drawn towards a light on a plateau, though he could not explain why. Approaching the light, he observed what he believed was a fuel truck, though his memory was foggy. Strangely, when he attempted to interact with the truck, he felt fear and avoided further engagement. Events continued as he frantically biked home, but soon found himself disoriented, arriving hours later than expected. At a nearby 7-Eleven, while extremely dehydrated, he heard his name broadcast over a police radio. The officer informed him that his wife had filed a missing persons report after his long absence, and this was especially troubling because, according to his recollections, the bike ride, which should have taken a couple of hours, had inexplicably stretched out much longer. He felt exhausted, as though he had run a marathon but could not make sense of the lost time. The entire event, punctuated with physical and emotional disarray, only added to his growing certainty that extraterrestrial beings had involved themselves in his life. Dr. Blitch discussed this struggle with the understanding experience that challenge reality, particularly those involving altered perceptions. He questioned how one could determine the true nature, benevolent or malevolent, of something capable of manipulating perceptions. Obviously, it's not good. It's obviously were demonic entities. He recounted an experience where he froze in fear upon seeing the cover of Whitley Strieber's book Communion, which features the image of a gray alien, and while walking through the Barnes & Noble with his younger daughter, he glanced at the cover and was immediately overwhelmed by terror, feeling a deep psychological response. His daughter noticed he was paralyzed, tugging on his hand, breaking the spell. Despite his terror, He later purchased the book, immediately tore off the cover, and threw it away. Blitch linked his fear to memories from his childhood, particularly of seeing similar alien faces looking at him through the window. These experiences left lasting psychological effects, such as obsessive compulsive behaviors, including repeatedly checking and locking doors and drapes at night. He heightened how these incidents created a deep sense of unease that he could not shake, reinforcing the profound unsettled impact they had on him. And Blitch addresses the perception of malevolence in his abduction experience compared to others interviewed on similar topics. He acknowledges that while these beings tamper with memories, there may be a benevolent intent behind it. He explains that they bring abductees back safely to their original location, such as his return to his bedroom or being placed near his bike after one incident. He compares the memory tampering to methods humans already use in anesthesia, where specific drugs can erase memory without traumatic events. To illustrate the concept, Blitch draws a comparison on how he used to take his Labrador retriever to the vet every 3 weeks. Despite the dog's resistance and physical discomfort from being dragged into the clinic, Blitch insists that it was for the dog's benefit. He implies that the being's actions, even when uncomfortable or invasive, may similarly have a greater purpose rooted in assistance or improvement rather than harm. Obviously, it was demonic. Let's remember the evil one even took our Lord Jesus Christ up to a high place and told him, "I'll give you all the kingdoms of the world." So yeah, things like this obviously are around, but we have been given spiritual weapons by our Lord Jesus Christ how to handle these situations. This is by Vicky Verma on House and Wise. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.